Catalina, welcome. So today we are talking about a complex and very important issue, the challenge lawyers face when assisting people whose mother tongue is an indigenous or native language. Why do you think this topic is so relevant in the today legal context?
Thank you for having me. This topic is crucial because intercultural communication represents one of the greatest challenges in contemporary law. It's not just about a language barrier, it's about deep difference in how people understand the world, justice, and law itself. In Latin America, multiple normative systems coexist, the state system and indigenous legal systems. When lawyers or judges ignore this reality, the conflicts in interpretation and application are very real.
Thank you. So thank you for your answer. So for continue with the interview, how does this lack of understanding affect access to justice?
Okay, very interesting. The consequences are serious. Although ILO in convention recognize the right to the indigenous peoples and be informed in their own language and to have interpreters. In practice, this is rarely fulfilled. There are numerous cases as documented by Stephen Hagen, an author, where indigenous individuals have been convicted without understanding the church or have signed legal documents without translation. Is a very serious problem. That's a direct violation of right of defense and due process.
Okay, Catalina, I see that this is a very important problem. So, let me ask to you about something different or about the language. So, beyond language, what other culture factors play a role in these conflicts? I mean, can you explain to us different factors that play different roles
Okay.
in this type of conflicts?
Okay, a very important one is the clash or worldviews. Boaventura de Sousa Santos, an author, describes this as epistemicide, the killing of alternative forms of legal knowledge. Western law imposes its own logic and era's indigenous one. For example, in many indigenous communities, land is collective and inalienable, while civil law conceives it as individual and transferable. So, when judge applies the law without understanding that cultural context about the indigenous communities, they may issue a ruling that is legally correct but profoundly unjust.
Okay, Catalina, that was very interesting answer. And now, let me ask to you, in what role does legal education play in this or this?
Okay, it's absolutely central. Catherine Walsh, another author, argues that critical interculturality is not just about coexistence, it's about transforming power relations. In law, that means training lawyers who not only know state law but also understanding indigenous normative systems and their language, their producers, and their underlying principles. A lawyer who ignores these dimensions might intentionally reproduce inequality. So even with good intentions, we need legal educations that truly intercultural.
Catalina, that I think that all of the people have to think. So that's make me think. Are there efforts being made in Latin America to improve these situations, or not? What do you think?
Mm,
I know that is a difficult question. I know. But
I think that yes, they deserve recognition. Several countries are implementing these topics, intercultural service protocols in their judicial systems, training certified interpreters
okay.
to the situation in native language is very important, and developing jurisprudence that recognize cultural misunderstanding as a mitigating factor in criminal responsibility. Um, Furthermore, for example, in the United Nations, the Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People reinforce the obligation to states to ensure that indigenous people can both understanding and be understood in legal proceedings and context.
That was a very interesting answer, Catalina. Thank you for that answer. So for take a final of this podcast or this interview, I want that you respond. What still needs to be done to close the gap between what the law says and what actually happens? You know what?
Okay, we need a deep transformation.
Okay.
We need a deep transformation. Not it's just about law, but in education and culture as well.
That's very important.
Yes, we must rethink how we conceive justice itself and train legal professionals to understand that law is not universal, it's plural. Unless we establish a genuine dialogue between different legal and cultural systems. So this is very important because the access to justice will remain unequal.
Okay, Catalina. So this is the final or podcast. So I want to say to you that thank you for this much needed conversation, and thank you to be here, and thank you for explaining to us what is the important to know different topics or different things about the intercultural communication in the legal context, because it's very important to save or to guarantee the indigenous rights.
Okay, thank you for opening this space. I truly believe that the greatest challenge for law today is to recognize that there isn't just one way to achieve justice. There are many, all this year to be heard.
Okay, Kata. Again, thank you to be here.
Thank you.
And bye.